Oh dear. Was not expecting to do this today. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Thank you for joining us. We're back in the workshop working on the Super Caddy. The electrical stuff is all working. The engine's running great. The wheels are now dry. A few days have passed, so that black paint is dry, and they're already at the MOT garage getting the new tyres fitted. So it's all looking good. I have ordered some of the blue paint from the original paint code, and I was like, I'll just wire wheel under the arches, give them a quick wire wheel. There was a few little scabby bits I didn't quite like the look of. I thought I'd wire wheel them back, and then seam seal it and paint them blue just to tidy up inside the arches. And look what I found. This is not good. Most bits are okay. The rusty bit I've cleaned up. The metal's solid, we're all good. That one needs a little bit more, but we're looking okay. Once that's, I'll put some rust treatment on there to kill the rust, seam seal it. All this texture is all seam sealer. It's all covered in seam sealer, so. But down here, not so good. That is far from ideal. Considering this Caddy was supposed to be a fairly straightforward project, as ever, it's escalating, but I'm not gonna let it get out of control. I'm just gonna have to make a little patch panel, cut that bit out, weld a new piece in, seam seal it all, and we'll be good to go. Problem is, I can't keep doing all that outside. It's killing me working outside when all my tools are so far in the other end of the workshop. I am sick of lying on the floor in the wet, in the rain, and I don't want to start welding outside in the rain. So I'm going to have a big juggle around. The Edwardian is going to have to somehow, I might have to make some little skate for it, wheel that outside, get the Caddy in, and basically try and get the Caddy in the workshop, even up the far end, so I can get the welder to it and deal with all this rust properly. So we can't have that. We can't have a rusty Caddy. Yep, still sneezing. That was quite a fight, and that's taken half the day to mess around with the Edwardian, get that out and get this in, shuffle things around. At least the Caddy is now running, back on its wheels. It actually starts up fine and runs really well, which I'm really pleased with. So now I've got it in the workshop, jacked it up, taken the wheel back off, got it on axle stands. We can have a proper look at what is happening underneath. There are some spider webs that I've missed. This is all perfectly fine. This pressing, it's all good. So I'm literally going to be cutting that little zigzag line, and then this return. Actually, this outer piece is okay, so I'm going to try and leave it, just cut that square, come around there, probably made in two pieces, weld them together. And then this bottom lip is two pieces, outer and inner, is where they meet along there. So I can put a little return there, come down and have a little flange and weld that on. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't get any worse than that. I just need to get the grinder in there, try and chop that out, get that out of the way, then I can work at making new pieces and welding them in place, which is not going to be straightforward underneath the car. Paper template that fits in the hole. It comes through. That's got the little fold on it there, and this the tab at the bottom is a bit long, but that's fine, I'm leaving it long. Can't say how important it is to spend the time and make that paper template. Transfer that to a sheet of steel, cut that out, fold it up, and then try and weld it in. Oh. Was not expecting to do this today. I thought we were going to be playing with the engine, getting the interior back in. Apparently not. That's the corner all cut out nice and square. Right up in that void, I've sprayed loads of weld-through primer. quite tricky with one hand, but you get the gist. That's the new panel. It's very tricky to hold it in position with one hand, with Wendy trying to lick my ear, but it does fit better than I just made it look. It may not be the absolute neatest job I've ever done, but there is no point in me spending hours and hours planishing this all and smoothing it all out, because I'm about to get a tub of seam sealer and smear it around there with a big old 2-inch brush. That is structurally as good as it needs to be, well, as good as it was. Spot welded along the bottom seam. I used Worth's zinc primer inside, sprayed as much of that in there as I could, all the back sides of everything, so it's protected for the future. And as I say, tomorrow morning I'll pick up a big pot of seam sealer and I'll smear that around there. I'm sure I'm going to find somewhere else. I'm going to wire wheel off a little bit more of the wire of the seam sealer here and there, just to make sure that there's no more surprises, because I bet there is. Honestly, on this caddy, I don't know what is going on. I have spent a fortune and a lot of time going around like motor factor shops buying so many different lengths and sizes of fuel hose. The outlet on the tank is huge, and the previous owner at some point has really forced on and stretched a piece of tube over it, and it was cracked and split, and I feel like the stretch was potentially the problem. So I've tried to resolve it a different way. I looked at getting a massive piece of hose and stepping it down with an inline filter, because sometimes they have little shoulders, but the outlet is so big in the tank, it didn't fit on any of the inline filters. So I've had to get creative and go over to the lathe and turn up a little aluminium sort of step down adapter. Now these do exist, but not from the big size that I needed to get to down to the smaller size. I would have had to put 2, potentially 3 different adapters in there, which would have just been a mess. So I've turned up a piece of aluminium, made the large size first, put a little ridge there. That is just to stop the actual hose coming back off. Flipped it around in the lathe, then did exactly the same for the small size, and success. I'm not going to lie, the different hose clamps does stress me out a little bit. I would have loved to have had both matching, but I've ended up with such a hodgepodge of different hoses and fittings. The fact that this won't leak, I think, is the main goal. And that is now ready to attach. Then that is every single fuel hose on the car, all the flexible hoses replaced. So I'll put 10 pounds worth of fuel in it, and then I can actually test the fuel gauge, because there's every chance I may be dropping the tank to replace the fuel sender if that gauge isn't working. Fingers crossed. Done, finally. I'm very pleased to say fuel lines are done. I've just put 10 pounds worth of fuel in it, so hopefully that gauge is working. The car's on such an angle, I can't look at the moment. I need to level it out first. I've also gone to town with my seam sealer. I've tried my best to match the original sort of texture. They really larruped it on, so I've sort of tried to match it. It's all stippled, and then there's like drags in the corners where they've run around with the brush. I'm pleased with how it looks. I've got some blue paint on the way, so I'll dust under there with some blue paint to match the body. That's how it would have been. Unfortunately, I now have to look at the other side, and I don't want to jinx it. It looks better, but I'm a bit worried. It's a bit scabby towards the front, and I really hope I'm not going to have to do all of this again on the other side. I guess there's only one way to find out. Oh dear. Not what I was hoping for. I really thought this project would not include rust repair. And I thought, you know, it's not that old. I thought it was going to be a mechanical project, not doing more welding. That is a very big hole in the lower seal there. I think it's actually worse than the other side. This is disappointing. That's just balanced in place at the moment, but I'm about to weld it in. I'm getting there. Goodness me, that fairly simple job ended up taking me, oh God, it's probably been half a day yesterday, then a few hours today. A lot longer than it should, but I've had far too many distractions. But we're there, it's in, it's good. It's not the best job in the world, but it's, you know what, it's good enough. Bearing in mind now, I'm about to cover it in seam sealer. So I'm gonna crack open the pot of seam sealer again, my big brush, smear that around everywhere, let that dry. Then I need to jack up the front and see what state the front arches are in. Hopefully they're better, I think they are. Well, welcome everybody to the jacking point disaster. Oh, the front end I thought was looking good. The right hand side, offside, had a bit of a scabby bit, but actually clearing it up, grinding it back, putting some rust treatment on it, it looks really good, it's solid. When I did the same on the near side, the left hand side front, it was all looking promising. Then I laid underneath and had a look at the jacking point. What was left of the jacking point anyway. But I'd rather find it now than up on the ramps at the MOT station, so at least I can deal with it here. It really looks a lot worse than it is because it's actually just a square hole on flat sheet steel. So I'm just gonna cut a square out as close as I can to the rot, leaving as much good metal as I can, grind back and clean up and keep the original jacking point pressing, cut a new piece of steel, make an end of that swage, and then all I need to do is spot weld the original jacking point pressed section onto my new patch repair and weld it in place. Simple. It's just going to take a few hours. Hopefully you can see that is going in there. Wendy is not going to be watching me weld. Don't worry. She'll go far, far away. Won't you, Wendy? Hey? I'm not going to say the last, but at least the big chunk of the welding done. I'm going to crack open the seam sealer again and smear it around under here. It's getting late, as you can see, it's pitch black outside. My battery's died on my camera. My battery has died, and it's late in the day now, and I have to load up some tools and head down to the repair shop for a couple of days. But I'll be back on Saturday. Maybe we'll get the caddy back on its wheels and out the front of the workshop, tidy up everything else, and I think we're almost there. So see you in a few days. It's not the end of the video, don't worry. That is more than enough rust repair. It's time for a cosmetic change. This rear window is the original rear window. They're made of like I don't know what they're made of, perspex and acrylic of some sort. Over time, it goes all fogged up. You know, like old headlights sometimes go like that. And my old caddy that I used to have had the same back window, and it was a nightmare because you can't see out the back. rear view mirror is useless, especially when somebody behind you at night's got headlights. Literally, it's just a big light box behind you. You can't see a thing. And I've always wanted the sliding rear window. It's something that I really wanted on my previous Caddy and never got. And I sold the Caddy and moved on before I ever actually got one because they're quite expensive. But guess what I've just received? Oh, there it is. Beautiful. I have wanted one of these for so long. I'm so chuffed that I've got it, and I just hope now that it's actually going to fit. I'm assuming I can use the original rubber. I really hope so. It's not the sunniest day in the world. I might warm up the original rubber, give it a good clean, and see if we can get this installed on my own as well. It's not easy. One day that I need John here. Where are you, John? I need your help. This is a tip that I learned from John. Before you put it into the actual vehicle, you need to put a thin piece of, ideally it'd be a thin piece of string, but I'm improvising, I've got a piece of wire, around the channel of the rubber that the actual body is going to sit onto. Feed that through all the way around, then put the window with the rubber on into the aperture, and then from the inside of the vehicle, you pull this wire, and as you pull it out of the groove, it pulls the lip up and over and into position. And a little tip is an old biro. Feed that through there, and that is your installation tool to get the wire into the channel. Love it. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.